Hey Pisces, how's it going? I got some oracle messages for you here. Um, Before I turned on the camera, I was meditating on your energy and I saw a tornado, but it wasn't destructive. I saw two barns, some wooden fences, and some green fields, and it looked a lot like Iowa or Nebraska. And a tornado was just there, and it wasn't kicking up any dirt or anything. It was just there. Kind of like gray in color, almost like a cartoon tornado. And then like from the ground shot a large arrow, like, from a bow and arrow. And it was very big. It was maybe like half the height of the tornado, or maybe like a third of the height of the tornado. And its fletching was dark red. The feathers at the end were dark red, and it had one of those almost, triangular shaped razor heads. And when it got to the top of the tornado, it just stayed there, floating, pointing straight up. And the tornado was spinning, and nothing was happening. So I like pushed it over, right, with my mind or whatever. I was like, what happens if I push this arrow over? Will it fling out or whatever? And it started spinning around, but then it reoriented itself straight back, and it just kind of wobbled a little bit. It was like it was held by a magnetic field. I don't know if you've ever played with strong magnets and maybe paper clips or bits of metal or something, and no matter what you do with the bit of metal, it will reorient itself according to the magnetic field, like a compass. And so it was pointing straight up, and I just sat there and watched it for a while, and then a tiny ball of light, well, I guess it was a relatively large ball of light. This was a very big arrow. But relative to the arrow, it was small, and it just appeared right at the top of the arrowhead at the point, and the arrow just went up ever so slightly and just poked it, just went into this golden ball of light. Like, it was like a small sun. And then this tiny ball of light like bled. There was like a thin stream of blood that went down the arrowhead and the shaft of the arrow. Not much blood, just a little bit. And I immediately was reminded of the symbolism of the pelican that pricks its own chest and bleeds to feed its own young. That's a symbol that's been adopted. It was originally like a Rosicrucian symbol from the 17th century, but it was popular with Central European alchemists and occultists, and it was later adopted by, I think, Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It is the 18th degree of the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It's associated with this pelican that pricks its own chest. Maybe the number 18 is important, I don't know. But it's the idea that there's this infinite nourishing energy that comes from the heavenly sphere that replenishes the world. And it doesn't, that the spirit doesn't need to be replenished by anything. It is what replenishes. It is self-fulfilling. It is self-nourishing. It pricks its own chest and feeds its young with its own blood, and it doesn't need to be nourished in return. It'll be just fine, right? So it's this infinite nourishment that comes from the spiritual world. And it was very interesting. And like the vision showed up super quickly. Like as soon as I began the meditation, it was just like, oh, here we go. This is what it is. Like immediately when I closed my eyes. Which is very interesting when that happens. And then I pulled an I Ching hexagram for you, hexagram 37, or household, with the changing line, the fifth line here. So household changes to adorning. Maybe the numbers 37 and 22 are significant. And here we have the elements of wind over fire. And we get this idea of like a hearth that creates warm air, or a harmonious breeze that is created by like the fire of love. Harmony is fueled by love. And the most obvious interpretations of this are a harmonious family life, a good harmonious household. We have here like just good supportive energies surrounding you, whether this is your biological family or the family you've chosen or your friend group or something like that. There is a lot of harmony and balance. And when I was doing this hexagram, Everything in Its Right Place, a song by Radiohead, was playing through my mind. I love that song. It's a really beautiful song. So maybe you want to listen to that. But here, the fifth changing line, that's the host of this hexagram, it's called. It's like the most auspicious line, and that's where you are. It's the yang and the yin are in perfect harmony and correspondence. The masculine and feminine energies are in perfect balance with each other, and everything is in its right place. And in a situation like that, we develop a foundation for ourselves that can be very long-lasting. And we have to know that, fueling that or creating that foundation with mutual respect and love creates a harmony. It creates an atmosphere of just pleasantness, and that atmosphere allows for a lot of productivity to occur. I also get that if this isn't about maybe social groups or family or anything like that, there's just really good management of resources. Your management skills are going to be at like a peak right now. You're going to be like in the zone in terms of maybe delegating in the workplace or managing of resources or organizing a space. Maybe you're like practicing some feng shui and really just reorganizing some stuff, or some, stapacheved, or some other sort of spatial energy work or reorganization, or some early spring cleaning. Well, it depends on what time. You could be watching this video at any time, but something like some spring cleaning is just going to go really well. And that management of resources is going to come like naturally. It's going to be like a second language, or just this natural skill that you're going to have at this time. And your intuition about how to manage these resources is going to be really on point. There's also this idea that your vibe controls the room, or you set the example. Like how you feel in a group of people is going to determine what that group of people feels. I think I've given you similar readings in the past, Pisces, where like you're just really in this energy of setting the vibe, setting the mood. Your mood becomes everybody else's mood. So be careful about what mood you're in. Although I have the feeling that a positive, harmonious mood is going to be very easy for you to attain. Maybe if you're in a bad mood or whatever, and you have to like psych yourself into a good mood and just decide to be in a good mood, that'll come very easily to you now. And so you use that power because you're really setting the vibe here. And there's also some micro to macro correspondence here. That idea that your conduct ripples out and affects the conduct of others, and it affects the direction of, society as a whole, essentially. I got this interesting feeling when doing this. It was almost like a secondary meditation in a way. I'm not sure if you've ever entered into a hypnagogic state and have done some like accidental remote viewing where like you might have overheard someone's conversation 3,000 miles away. Sometimes that can happen to me. But it was something like that, and I got like this sense of an argument where some activist, some sort of political hothead was disappointed in you, essentially, or someone in your position, for not being involved enough, right? Not being active enough. They think you're being apathetic about something, that you don't care about the world's problems, or that you're not doing enough to solve the world's problems. This is a lot of the time young people, like teenagers and people in their 20s, can get into that mental state where they think people just don't do enough, they don't care enough, everybody's apathetic and blah, blah, blah. But and sometimes that's true, I guess. I don't know. Who the hell am I to say what's right and wrong in that regard? But in your case, it's not true. This person or this energy, it might be a part of yourself that is coming up that's like telling you you're apathetic, or telling you you're not doing enough, telling you that you have to do more for this world, or you have to do more to improve your culture, or something like that. But then there's the part of you, there's you, or the more dominant and correct part of you that's like, no. Like, I am involved. You know, like the person could be yelling at you, why aren't you involved in government? Why don't you do something like that? And you say, well, I am involved in government. Like, the government begins in the household. The way I conduct myself, every little choice I make, every little interaction I have with every person in this world, every decision I make on my micro level in my own individual life influences the world around me. The way I feel, the way I speak to people, the way I treat people, the way I spend my money, the way I eat, the things I choose to buy and the things I choose to consume, the way I spend my time, the type of job that I have, the attitude I have, my conduct, my code of ethics that I follow, the way I comb my freaking hair, like everything I do affects the world around me, and I do it. You know, I'm speaking from your perspective. I do it in total awareness. Like, don't tell me I'm not involved. Don't tell me I don't care. I care deeply. And it's why I conduct myself the way that I do. And that part of you that's saying that is 100% correct. Everybody from every ancient traditional civilization, every philosopher, every prophet, every sage would agree with you that yes, the society begins with the way that an individual conducts themselves in their everyday affairs and actions. And you really feel that, and that's so great. You're like on this vibe, or if you don't feel it now, like you're gonna step into this really soon, and things are gonna like click into place, and you're gonna realize like, oh, no, I am doing enough. I don't have to chastise myself, or I don't have to be chastised by these people. I can safely tune them out and not feel guilty. I know that what I'm doing is good for the world, even if it is just sharing a smile with someone, saying an encouraging word over here, perhaps a bit of a chastising word over there. You know, like sometimes we don't even have to do anything. We just give someone the look, the eyebrow. We don't have to solve the problem or anything. They immediately, their conscience, you know, gets the better of them and they transform themselves just because we gave them that look. Like, really? You barely have to lift a finger and you can right wrongs all around you just with one look. But yeah, all the little things that we do in our lives absolutely determine the direction that our culture goes. And there's no apathy there if, you know, you don't have to like run for office or paint picket signs and yell at the government. Like, that sort of thing is just for a very small number of people, that sort of activity. It's not for everyone. And if anyone is trying to pressure you into doing that or being involved in those types of ways and it doesn't feel right, then you don't have to listen to them. Of course, if it feels right, you know, follow your heart. Don't listen to me. But I'm getting this strong vibe that like you set a really good example from your macro world of your individual, your micro world as an individual. You affect the macro, the whole society, the whole world, the whole universe. And you're aware of that. You understand how that works. Most Pisces do. And you don't need anyone to tell you off. You don't need a part of yourself to tell you off or to make you think otherwise. So maybe, you know, just realize that. Like, you can protect yourself from those types of ideas and energies. Like, you don't have to listen to that crap at this time. The things you do set a good example. As long as you know, stoke the winds of harmony with your fire of love, that's it. You're doing it. You're affecting society around you. You know? So, like, this is a time of, you know, not sweating that type of thinking, and don't feel guilty for whatever it is you're doing. And it doesn't have to be about, like, huge political or social issues or whatever. It could just be, like, in the workplace or in your neighborhood or anything like that. Like, no, you are setting a good example. You really are. And your conduct is just fine. It's not something to worry about. So if you were worrying about something like that, like I'm getting the feeling that you don't have to. Or if there's just some mosquito in your ear, you can just safely tune them out. Don't let them, you know, don't let a mosquito in your ear become the devil on your left shoulder. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna pull some cards for you, Pisces. What does Pisces need to know? We have the messenger, the divine messenger. It's an image of a little feather. So now is the time to be listening to your intuition, listening to your higher self, listening to your spirit guides, listening to God, listening to your instincts, your deeper spiritual instincts, not necessarily your animal instincts, although sometimes those work well. So maybe you should. Just tuning into the higher planes, elevating your mind, spiritualizing your thoughts, thinking of loftier things, seeking the highest first, right? Seek the highest first, and all else shall be added unto you. The messenger. Let's see here. Oh, the sun. Look at that. Look at that little baby on a house. Yeah. The sun. Got some strong Leo energy in here, of course. Yeah, this is just, the sun. This is victory. This is peace of mind. This is strong development. This is nurturing the land. This is, growth. This is, again, setting the vibe, being the center here. The sun and the messenger, there's some serious divine energy coming into you right now. If you wanted to gain some deep spiritual insight, if you wanted to take a spiritual practice seriously and get real into it, you would have easy access right now to the invisible realms. It would be very effective at this time for you to engage in your spiritual practices. Perhaps there's some spiritual practice that you haven't done in a while, and now maybe you want to try it again, and it might have the intended results this time, or better results. Or there's something that you need to bring some light to, something in some communication that you need to have, some very clear communication at this time. If you have to clear the air with someone about something now, it would be very effective. It would be done from a really heightened place of awareness on both parties' parts, not just yours, but they would also be in a very, brilliant, solar, spiritual sort of calm, aware mental state, and they would receive well. They would probably have something good to add to the conversation as well. It would be a very productive discussion. If you needed to clear the air about something, now would be a perfect time to do it. And there's some victory here. It's just harmony and happiness. Again, that feeling of joy. Oh, for some reason, I want to pull two cards. Okay, interesting. So here we have disguise and rhythm. Now, disguise, this card here, I call it my comfort zone card. We have like some sort of, antelope or jackal type thing. It's a weird looking animal, but it's like chilling in its habitat. And here we have like a lyra. What else do we have here? A heron and a rabbit. So yeah, there's a really good rhythm in your home life right now. Your comfort zone. I'm getting like this purification of your comfort zone. So light and rhythm to me is like cleaning something. I get this sense of like a washing machine that has like a rhythm, and then UV light that also hits somehow inside the washing machine, and just this purifying, cleansing, rhythmic, light-filled thing. Maybe there's some sort of dancing or music that you can do that is cathartic for you and just purifies your nervous system and your soul and your feelings. But there's some cleansing of your comfort zone happening right now. And it's like, again, it has to do with like reorganizing your space. I think I mentioned Stapatya Veda or Feng Shui before. And eliminating the things in your space, maybe your living space, that you've outgrown. You know, maybe there's like an NSYNC poster on your wall that you should get rid of now. Like maybe you've outgrown it. NSYNC, what year is it? And something like that, something that is gonna set the vibe, like, you know, change the lights and explore color therapy and light therapy, and make sure you're surrounded by things that give you a good vibe, right? It's setting the vibe. Maybe your set and setting needs to be altered in a way that just makes you feel more comfortable, makes you feel more yourself. Get rid of the things in your space that don't feel like you anymore, the things you've outgrown, the things that if you were to engage with them today would make you feel like you were wearing a mask, like you were wearing a disguise. You know, when I was in my 20s, I got rid of one of my leather jackets that was ripped up and had studs and patches of punk rock bands on it and whatnot. You know, sometimes you just gotta throw that stuff away or donate it to Goodwill and just get it out of your life, because it just doesn't fit who you are anymore. And now would be a really good time to do that, and to do it with a sense of, like, this is the cosmic dance, this is the Leela, this is the rhythm of life. Things change, and as they change, we can purify it and create something new. I can purify myself through the reorganization of my space. You know, a lot of the time in spirituality and occultism, we do a lot of inner work, and it's all about inner work, and we talk about how the inner is more important than the outer and stuff like that, or that the outer begins with the inner. And yeah, that could be true from certain points of view, but also being in a physical space that's pleasing to you and conducive to your life is also very important. And so don't neglect that at this time. Make your comfort zone a place that's not going to hold you back, like a lot of comfort zones do, but a place of work, a place that's nice to work in, a place that's nice to do things in. You know, take care of your home life in that way. Make it a good, harmonious space, you know, make it look and feel the way you want it to look and feel. I'm going to pull a token for you, Pisces. One last thing to round out this reading. This one wanted to fall out. Okay, pulling two of everything today. We have Cancer and the number 4, again, home. Cancer is very homey, imagine the hermit crab, and the number 4, that's a number of home life and foundation and stability and nurturing, things like that. And then here we have feeling. This is one of the parts of the human being, right? We have thinking, feeling, willing, that sort of stuff, speaking. Here we have feeling. So again, having that inner harmony, you see this, it's like a flaming heart. I drew a little flame on it. That fire of love fuels the air of harmony. And like, see the flames, they're going up to the throat here. This is like a torso of a person, if you could see the arms and whatnot. The flames are gonna warm up that throat, and the throat chakra, that's air, that's communication. So communicating now from the heart center, from that sacred flaming heart, that inner divine love, is really going to elevate all of your interactions with people. I just got the idea, like, don't say anything unless it adds to the conversation. Like, that kind of rule to live by might be pretty good at this time, to keep silent unless you have something good to say. And I have the feeling you're going to have a lot of good to say, especially regarding interpersonal relationships, regarding your feelings. Your feelings are going to like ring true. They're going to be like fueled from the above, fueled by divine energies, and you can let that divine emotionality fuel your throat chakra, fuel your communication, and you can have like really warm, heartfelt, loving discussions with people, have really deep yet airy discussions about probably anything you want. Everything that you'll talk about will probably be imbued with like a beautiful sense of deep emotion, but easy to hear, like a warm breeze, and not like heavy, watery emotion, but like divinely uplifted emotion, like you're listening to a messenger of, you're listening to like a guiding spirit. You'll probably like speak with the choir of the angels coming through your throat at this time. So if there are things you need to express to people, songs you need to write and sing, anything like that right now will be extraordinarily effective. So, knuckle down and get to work on that sort of stuff. Make the phone call you need to make, have the conversation you need to have, or just take this energy and allow maybe your throat chakra to be healed and your heart center to do the healing of your throat center. And maybe that's what you have to do. But yeah, there's a lot of like really beautiful, harmonious energy here. I'm feeling like this globe of warmth around my little ritual space here, like a golden half sphere sitting on top of the table. Now, I'm not clairvoyant or anything. I'm not literally seeing anything like that, but I get this feeling of it. I don't know. That's interesting. But anyway, Pisces, I think that's where the Oracle and I are going to leave it for you tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate seeing you. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.